Hello, I'm James Hartigan. Welcome to PokerStars Learn's Glossary of Poker Terms. By the end of this video, you'll have heard more than 50 different poker expressions and what they mean, so you won't feel lost at the table when other players start launching into poker lingo. Don't worry if everything doesn't sink in straight away. You can always come back and use this video as a moving, talking dictionary. For more poker tutorials and the best poker content on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Right, let's get started with the fundamentals. Hand. Well, this can actually mean one of two things. A hand of poker refers to each individual short round of the game, from the moment the cards are dealt to the pot being won. A poker hand is used to describe the 5-card holding each player has after all the cards have been dealt. In Hold'em, this is done by combining the community cards in the middle of the table with a player's hole cards. Hole cards are the 2 cards dealt face down to each player at the start of a hand of Hold'em, also known as a player's starting hand. Community cards are the 5 cards dealt face up in the middle of the table that everyone can use, also known as the board. The pot is the total number of chips created by all the bets made by all the players during a hand of poker that everyone is playing for. Stack refers to the number of chips a player has in front of them and can play with. Deal. This is the process of distributing the cards to the players in the correct order. Shuffle means to randomly order the cards before the deal. This is done before the start of every hand of poker. Wash is a method of shuffling where the dealer puts all the cards face down in a pile and mixes them around. Burn. This only happens in live poker. The dealer discards a card from the top of the deck before dealing the flop, turn, or river. Blinds can refer to the players in the small blind and big blind positions at the table or the actual bets themselves. Blind level is a section of a tournament where the blinds are fixed at specific amounts. Steal the blinds. This is where a player bets pre-flop not wanting to be called. They just want to take the chips contributed by the 2 players who've posted the blinds. Defend the blinds means not folding from either the small blind or big blind position when there's been a raise before the flop. Blinding out occurs when a player isn't playing any hands but is losing a lot of chips, simply by posting the blinds each orbit. This could be because they're being dealt particularly bad cards, or it could be they're away from the table for an extended period of time. A walk is when the player in the big blind wins the pot without having to do anything, because every other player at the table folds pre-flop. Street is used to describe each stage of a hand where there's a round of betting, following the dealing of a specific card or cards. These streets are pre-flop. This is after the whole cards have been dealt, but before any community cards are known. The flop refers to the first 3 community cards. The turn is the 4th community card. The river is the 5th and final community card. Flop, turn, and river can be used as verbs when you make a hand on a particular street. For example, I flopped a straight, or I rivered a flush. Showdown. This isn't a betting street, it's when players show their hole cards at the end of a hand to determine who's won. Muck is when a player doesn't reveal their cards at Showdown and accepts defeat. They pass their cards back to the dealer face down, signaling they can't beat their opponent's hand. Action refers to the decision a player takes on each betting street. Bet means to put chips into the pot, specifically when it's the first player to do so. Raise. This occurs when someone has already bet and another player wants to increase the size of that bet. Call means simply matching someone else's bet without raising. If it's pre-flop and the initial bet is the big blind, calling is known as limping. Fold means a player doesn't want to call the bet. They're surrendering their hand and giving up on the pot. A situation where a player folds a really good hand is known as a laydown. Check is a signal that a player doesn't want to bet. They either tap the table or say the word check, and the action then passes to the next player. If everyone checks, the action moves on to the next betting street. In a situation where no one has raised pre-flop and the player in the big blind is given the chance to check or bet, this is known as their option. All in. This is where a player bets or raises all their remaining chips, also known as shoving, pushing, or jamming. A 3-bet is a re-raise. It's where a player raises after there's been an initial bet and a raise. It's effectively the 3rd bet, hence the name. 4-bet means to raise after a 3-bet. 5-bet means to raise after a 4-bet, and so on. A value bet occurs when a player thinks they have the best hand, wants to build a pot and win chips, and bets hoping to get called by an opponent with a worse hand. Bluff means betting with a poor hand, with the sole intention of making other players fold better hands. A semi-bluff is basically bluffing with a draw. It's betting with a hand that doesn't have much value yet, for example, 4 cards to a flush, but has potential and could improve to something really strong. A continuation bet, commonly known as a C-bet, is where a player who made the final raise in the previous betting round is the first player to bet in the next round. It's also known as barreling. A donk-bet occurs where a player who called a raise then takes the initiative to bet first on the next street, rather than checking to the aggressor and letting them make a continuation bet. It has a derogatory name because inexperienced players often do it without thinking. So, those are the fundamentals. If there's anything else you'd like to know, just leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe for more PokerStars videos, and if you enjoyed this one, please give it a like. I'm James Hartigan, thanks for watching.